to You Know What You Know, another episode. I meant to release an episode a while ago, like a couple days ago, but I was sick as hell. I've been sick for like a week. I'm good now, so we back. Definitely gonna talk some football today. Last podcast was straight basketball, so yeah, definitely gonna talk about some football today. Still gonna talk about a little basketball too, but today's episode definitely gonna be focused on football a little more. Yeah, but let's get right into it, man. I definitely want to talk about the Patriots. First place in the NFL, first place in the AFC, 10-2. They've been playing great, man. They've been playing great football. Drake May's looking good. They got Mike Vrabel over there now. Things are just looking different, man. Just looking different. Looks like they're back on their way up, and it's good to see. It is good to see. Despite living in New England and not being a Patriots fan, the things I grew up with, the things I deal with on the regular from friends and people I know, and all that is just yeah. So I still gotta show love though. I gotta be objective. I used to dislike the Patriots a little bit when I was young because, like I said, my friends growing up and shit just always letting me hear it about how they win and my team don't, this and that, Brady this, Brady, yeah, all that. So, I got a love-hate relationship with the Patriots. I got family who's Patriots fans. Most of my family's Cowboys fans, though. But, we had a couple clashes here and there, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, let me just get right into it, man. Drake May's balling. Like I said, they're 10-2. May has been good, man. May has been really good. I liked him last year, honestly, his rookie year. I thought he was really good. He showed a lot of confidence early, and it's just continued on, as you can see. Doesn't look like he's missed a step. He's been really good this year. Completing 71% of his passes. He leads the league in passing yards at about 3,100. Got about 21 touchdowns, only 6 picks. So, May's definitely balling. The stats look really good. About 111 passer rating, second in the league in QBR at 72. Yeah, man, he's just doing his thing, man. He's just doing his thing. I cannot, definitely can't say nothing bad about May. Yeah, man, a lot of aspects of that team are balling right now, man. It seems like everybody's just doing their job. Defense has not given up more than 23 points in a game this year, which is interesting because it's just you don't even. It's something that kind of goes under the radar. Like I'm sure people have, people are talking about the Patriots, but just like not giving up over 23 points in a game, like you're putting yourself in position to win most of your games. You know what I'm saying? You're giving up less than 25, so I think that's just an underrated stat, man. No more than 23 points. I think the Dolphins scored 27 in a game against them, but they had a kick return late, so I'm not putting that on the defense. But yeah, man, just balling, man. It's just Travion Henderson. He's been looking good. He had a couple big games last few weeks, so yeah, man. Shout out to the Patriots, man. They definitely balling. I don't think they've played the best teams. I think everybody can agree that their schedule has been. I'm not even gonna say their schedule has been weak. It's just been situations like, for example, the Bucks game. Bucks are a really good team. Bucks are one of the best teams in the NFC, and they didn't have Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, Chris Godwin. You know what I'm saying? So just it's just stuff like that. It's just like it's hard to. You don't want to discredit the Patriots because they're beating all these teams. You know what I'm saying? They're winning the games they have to. The games are some of these games are close, but you watch them, they're not really. Patriots are never really in danger of losing. They've had a couple one-score games with some iffy teams, but they're always in control of the game. They're gonna win. They've definitely beat most of these teams how they're supposed to beat them. Like I said, a couple one-score games, but still, like if you watch them, it's not really nothing to worry about. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't want to discredit them for their schedule, but they beat the Bills and the Bucks. So 2 good wins, but only 3 overall wins against teams with winning records. So they have won 7 games against teams with losing records, and that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That's it's hard to gauge really because you play who you play, and when you're 10-2, everybody loses to bad teams or everybody plays bad teams, and not everybody's 10-2. So, you know what I'm saying? You could say, oh, they played this team, they played that team, they played the Bengals without Burrow and Chase, and yeah, that's true. That's true. But they're also 10-2 and they're winning these games. So, both things can be true. It's okay that, they've caught some breaks. They've caught some breaks, and I don't think that so far them being 10-2 and number one in the AFC exactly proves that they're the best team in the NFL. But at the same time, you kind of can't say that they aren't. Until someone proves that they aren't, you kind of can't say that they're not because you can go by schedule all you want. The Broncos are 9-2. You know what I'm saying? How many teams have they've had some good wins? Off the top of my head, they've definitely had some good wins. But I'm sure they've beaten some duds too. So everybody does. Everybody does. As a Cowboys fan, I went through the same thing a couple years ago. We won 12 games, 3 years in a row. Every year, it's who you beat though? Who do you beat? Well, you can only play who you play, and this is the NFL. So the NFL is it's one of it's not like the NBA where one player could really like, oh, you're missing your one star player, they're missing their one star player, you're automatically at a disadvantage. Now the NFL is a little different. You got a lot more backups. You got a lot more people who could step in and take roles and um, you can miss players and change the game plan a little bit. Go to your running back a little more, throw a little more screen passes, whatever it is. You can find a way around it. It's not like I said. It's not the NBA. It's not five starters, one player who's contributing 20% of the production. You know what I mean? To whereas you got 22 starters, one player is contributing, whatever the math is on that. But yeah, man, it's not the same. So yeah, man, even when you're facing teams that are missing players like the Bengals and the Bucks, football is one in the trenches. So it's not always about that. It's not always about that. So um, yeah, man, I got to give them credit. Definitely got to give them credit. Vrabel's doing his thing over there. It's good to see him come over from Tennessee because a lot of people got the idea that he was a good coach. He did his first few years in Tennessee were pretty straight, and then they started going downhill a little bit, but they were losing players. Quarterback was out, whatever the situation was. You could tell it wasn't a coaching problem. So it's good that the Patriots showed faith in him and hired him, man. And former Patriot, coaching the team and definitely impressive to see them at this point after losing Brady just 6 years ago, which sounds like a long time, but in sports it's really not. When you lose a generational player like that, it could take a lot longer than that to get back to the mountaintop. So it's pretty impressive. And like not only Brady, it's Belichick too. They lost Belichick, they lost Brady. It's like a whole new start. It's like a whole new era. It's literally a whole new era. Literally, it is a whole new era. And within 4 years of that era, 5 years, around the fifth year maybe now, they're number one in the NFL. So I think that I think the Patriots are really showing right now that they're just really great up top. They're a good organization. So yeah, man, it's impressive. It's definitely impressive to see. Christian Gonzalez is balling out. He's definitely having another probably an All-Pro year. He's been really good. I think he's only given up like 100 yards after the catch so far this year, which is pretty good. It's a good number. Allowing like a 55% completion rate. Not bad, man. He's playing pretty good ball. So, yeah, man, I'm impressed with them. I'm impressed. I just don't know if they're contenders yet. I don't know if they're contenders. My biggest thing with them is they don't have an X factor. They don't have somebody who stands out. They don't have an all-pro skill position player or someone that just puts fear in you. No one that really puts fear in you outside of maybe Drake May. Drake May, obviously, he's been balling. I'm sure teams are really, obviously, he's on the radar now. Every game you go into against the Pats, you're locking on the Drake May. So, but outside of that, it's just like Travion Henderson. He's obviously a rookie, so, give him some time. But he's good. He's really good, obviously. He's a good player. But he's not, he's no superstar yet. Stephon Diggs. Borderline superstar at times. I don't personally think he's ever been a superstar. I think he's been a star. I think he's been a really good player for a long time. And at his peak, he might have been a superstar, but most of his career, I think he's been a good star. And I just don't think that, players like this, you got Hunter Henry, who's been balling for years. Great player. I think he had 9 touchdowns his first year on the Pats. I believe he has 7 this year. I could be about 7 or 8. He's balling, man. He's a good end zone target. He's been putting up numbers for years now. Good player. Austin Hooper, another good player. Demario Douglas, Butte, all of them, they're good players. No one really stands out especially when you're going against teams like I don't know, Baltimore, who have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, one MVP and another damn near MVP, All Pro. You know what I mean? Even if they got off to a little slow start this year, Lamar was hurt, all that, whatever. They still, at the end of the day, they go every game they go into. They got two players who at their peak or on a regular basis, pretty much, you can't stop them. Like no matter what you do, you cannot stop them. I don't think the Patriots have that guy. I just don't think. I think as of right now, I think their defense as a whole might be that to where like I said, if they can hold no more than 23 points in a game this year, they can hold you to less than 23 points in a game every game. They're putting themselves in position to win, especially with the way Drake May's been playing. I'm not saying they haven't had trouble scoring the ball. They haven't had trouble really doing anything. But when you get to the playoffs and you don't have somebody like a Saquon or a Tyreek Hill when he was on the Chiefs, or George Kittle's a great example. He put in a lot of, or let me not use George Kittle. He's putting a lot of work in the playoffs. But McCaffrey, another one. You need an X factor who you just know is going to give you production every single game, no matter what the defense game plans, no matter what the situations are. You need an X factor. You need somebody you can go to at all times. Mahomes had Kelsey all these years. How many times you see in the playoffs Mahomes go to Kelsey on third down, fourth down, big plays, end zone. You know what I'm saying? You need that guy who can really give you that all the time when you need it, situationally, whatever it is. I just don't. Who are they locking in on? Who are they like? All right, so when we get down to fourth and goal from the 4 and we gotta throw it. Who are we going? You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily think you need a guy for that specific situation, but you know what I mean. It's just like certain teams are like, all right, here we're handing it off to Derek. We know every time we're handing it off to Derrick Henry. Mahomes, every time he gets in city situations, I'm going to Travis. You know what I mean? Joe Burrow, I'm looking for Jamar Chase every third down. When it comes to the playoffs, you use your star players more than you even use them in the. You try to at least. You try to use them more than you do in the regular season, and I just don't. I mean, it could be a good thing. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you've seen teams go to their star player too much, and then they start getting frustrated. We've seen a lot of crash outs in playoff games. You know what I mean? And maybe the Patriots won't have any problem forcing the ball to somebody, or a star player letting them down because they're just using everybody. Excuse me. But maybe because they're using everybody, spreading the ball around, you know what I mean, not focusing on one person, and because the defense can't focus on one person, well, maybe that'll be better for them. If you get Travion Henderson really going, he's already been going pretty much, but I feel like he's still picking up a little bit. Diggs has been good this year, but he's been a little up and down. He's been a little hot and cold. You know what I'm saying? They also haven't needed him to be some great star this season. He's been really good. He's been good, and Douglas and Butte are just contributing as they go, just having big games here and there, and maybe they don't need the X factor. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's a specific part of that team that really puts fear in your heart going into the playoffs, and I think they would struggle against certain teams in the AFC, even teams like the Ravens who have a worse record than them. But when you go up against Derrick Henry and Lamar in the playoffs, and your top two dogs are Travion Henderson and Stephon Diggs and Drake May, I mean, you're not coming in with the same firepower. So but yeah, man, I could be wrong. I'm rooting for the Pats. Before the season, I said they'd be very good, and I'd love to be right. So I hope they keep winning. I'm rooting for Drake May. I'm a big Drake May fan. I was a big Drake May fan his rookie year. So yeah, man, I think they could win a game or two in the playoffs for sure. Yeah, they could beat a few teams in the playoffs for sure. I mean, they already showed us they could beat the Bills. So and that's a big one to get out the way, especially when going against Josh Allen in the playoffs. We've seen that. We know what he does. So, but yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I don't know if they'll be contending for a Super Bowl this year. I don't think so, personally. But at the same time, I also think the AFC is a little weaker than people think. So, and I think as a whole, both conferences have been a little underwhelming. So, you got the Colts, the Broncos, both great records. Neither team really scares me that much. I think the Broncos are legit because of their defense mainly. Their offense has been actually putting up a decent amount of points and been pretty good this year. But yeah, their defense really is the big dog, and I don't know how the Patriots will fare against those teams. I really don't. That's the thing about the schedule thing, though, is that it's hard to tell how they fare against certain teams when they only, they're playing the Saints and they're playing the Bengals without Burrow and Chase, and they're playing these teams that they won't be seeing in the playoffs. So, like I said, outside of the Bills win, I don't want to discredit them, but it is what it is. So I think the Patriots, we got to see them get a little more tested, and we'll see coming into the playoffs. We'll see. Like I said, maybe it'll work out for them. Maybe it'll work out for them not having that one person to focus in on. Maybe everybody will get some love and everybody will ball out, and Drake May continues doing his thing. Who says they can't, make a run? I personally don't think it will happen, but when a team's 10-2 in the first place in the NFL, you can't, just say they can't make a run, because obviously, they're one of the better teams. So, yeah, man, I definitely give credit where it's due. Shout out to the Pats. Shout out to Drake May. Yeah, man, let's see what they do moving forward. But yeah, that's it on that. I'm gonna move on to some basketball talk. I really want to talk about, and this is something I've wanted to talk about for the last year or so. I really want to talk about aging superstars in the NBA right now, and I'm mainly talking about the big three: Curry, KD, LeBron. Yeah, man, I think they're doing something we've never seen right now. They're doing something we've never seen. I mean, LeBron obviously just came back, from his injury, and he hasn't, he's been balling a little bit, nothing crazy, but he had the 12 assists that first game, 11 points, whatever, cool, first game back, he's 40, so not expecting too much yet, but I still think he's gonna, just going off of last year, I'm assuming he'll be something similar to that. But yeah, man, I mean, Curry right now is just balling out. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Personally, I thought Curry was on a little bit of a decline about 3 years ago. About 2 years ago, maybe not 3. Probably right after they won that championship. Going into that next year, I thought maybe it hit his decline. Nah, he's hit no decline at all. I mean, he's 37. He'll be 38 before the end of this season. KD's 37, and LeBron will be 41 next month. So, and they're all averaging, Curry's giving you almost 30 a game, 29 a game right now. KD's about 26 a game, 27, I can't remember. But he's doing his normal thing. And we've just never seen anything like this. I mean, I was looking at some previous players, from the past who played past 35, like stars, Kareem, Jordan, AI, Tracy McGrady. McGrady didn't make it that far, but Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, just a bunch of random names, Dominique Wilkins. And I just wanted to see what their age 35 plus seasons look like, and nobody, for one, most people after 35 are not scoring more than like 15 a game. Let's just put that out there. I think Pierce at 37 was averaging like 12, 11 or something like that. I think Vince Carter was like 10, 11 points a game. They were pretty much role players at that point, coming off the bench. I think Kevin Garnett was averaging like 6.5 points. And, it ain't all about points, but, it just, it's, the main factor, for the most part when it comes to, these stars, especially a lot of them are scorers. But, it's not just the scoring. It's the fact that, Curry and KD are averaging 25 plus, almost 30 points a game, and they're the number one focus on their team. They're still the number one star. They're still the driving force of their teams. And KD's been switching teams, and every team he goes to, it's obvious, I'm that guy. I'm the best player. Now, he hasn't won a lot the last few years, but individually, he still shows that he's pretty much the same guy. So, yeah, man, we've never seen anything like this. I believe Kareem averaged 22 points a game at 37 or 38, and Jordan averaged 22 points a game at 38, 39. So, we've seen some people score some points, but even, Kareem had Magic. he wasn't like the driving force of that Lakers team at that point. Michael Jordan was on the Wizards. They were terrible. He wasn't making the playoffs. He was just, playing the play. These dudes are not only balling out, but they're still competing. Their teams are winning, and every year their teams are pretty much a contender for the most part. I mean, the Suns with KD was ugly. That was just an ugly mess. I called it from the beginning when he went to the Suns. I said that team is not going to be good. They're not going to win a lot of games. Nobody's worried about them. Well, 2 years later, I was right. And yeah, but even outside of that, he still was 27 a game on efficient shooting, and he looks the same. It looks like he hasn't missed a step, and I'm really confused on how they're doing this at this age because Steph has been going crazy the last like week and a half. He had what 46, 49, 39, 31, something. Yeah, he's been going crazy. So, like I said, it's just something we've never seen. We've never seen this. Like literally, nobody has ever put up these numbers, and not only that, been the number one player, the main focus of their team at this age. And I really think it might be due to load management. I think this could be, our first signs of what load management can lead to, why they were doing it, why, it's good for the league. And I'll never fully commit to load management being good for the league, but for example, Curry's only played 70 plus games 2 out of the last 9 seasons. KD's played 70 plus games 2 out of the last 10 seasons. And I think LeBron has only played 70 plus games 2 seasons since he joined the Lakers. So, mind you, 2 of those seasons are shortened because of COVID. But still, they're missing, 15 plus games almost every year. So they're missing almost a quarter of the season every year. And I think that, these might be the first signs of why load management can be good. Because, back in the day, they're playing 80. Everybody always talks about, oh, they didn't miss games back in the day. It was a lot more physical. Yeah, but none of them played past 35, and if they did, they weren't very good anymore, So, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to completely get with load management, but these numbers I'm looking at, I'm just like, we're seeing stars perform at levels for years that we've never seen. And, for me personally, these are all people I grew up watching who, they've been in the league 18 years. I'm only 28 years old. LeBron's been in the league 23 years. He's been in the league since I was 6. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful that I can watch these players still. If you would have told me in 2017 that Curry, KD, and LeBron will still be top 3 of the top 8 to 10 players in the league, and 2025, I would have not believed you. You know what I'm saying? I would have never thought that could be possible. So, yeah, man, I think we're just seeing something. We're very spoiled right now. NBA fans are very spoiled. The young talent is through the roof. I talked about that in my last podcast. And the old talent is still putting in work. I mean, you still got players like Drew Holiday, who's balling out right now in Portland. I thought he was on the decline the last few years, balling out right now, giving you like 17 and 8. You know what I'm saying? Al Horford still doing his thing. He's about 40 years old, still doing his thing. Just won a championship 2 years ago. Was a key focus on that team too at 38. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's not even just the top 3. It's a lot of people. And maybe it has to do with, the game being less physical. That could have something to do with it. Maybe it has to do with, the technology today, the access they have for things for their body, for their health. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's crazy. Like to see that, when you see a top 10 players list, most of the time you're still seeing Curry, KD, and Bron up there. So, yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, and I enjoy it, man. I can't really put my finger on it, but I think it's special, man. It's really special. I mean, you're telling me Curry looks like, on some nights he looks like the best player in the league at 37, and that's a guard. Guards used to have all types of problems by the time they were in their 30s. You know what I'm saying? From taking hits and, bad ankles, whatever it is, bad knees, like, big men too. Everybody was like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody once they hit 34, 35. I mean, some players were having bad knees and shit like that in their late 20s, mid 20s. Look at Brandon Roy and Tracy McGrady and Gilbert Arenas, like just players who suffered injuries certain points in their career and just never were the same. KD tore his Achilles at 31 years old and came back and was the same exact player. You know what I'm saying? LeBron's been healthy his whole career. Curry's had a lot of ankle problems, a couple couple leg problems. He's had some issues. So it's impressive, man. It's impressive, and I'm definitely appreciative of it. We've never seen anything like this, and yeah, man. I hope they keep it going. I mean, I can't imagine if they go another year or two and they're all in their 40s balling out. I mean, is that even possible? Like I said, I would have never thought this was possible. So, we'll see. And if any of them win a championship, oh, forget about it. Forget about it. That'll be one of the best championships ever won. Whether no matter who wins it, any of them. Even KD on the Rockets, he's surrounded by a bunch of good young players. But he's still the number one focus on that team. Sengun is, they're probably 1A, 1B, I guess. Responsibility wise. But KD's still KD. He's going to be the leading scorer. He's going to be getting the most shots. When it comes down late in games, he's getting those shots. So, yeah, man, if any of them could, win something, and they've all been competing, kind of the last few years. Curry, competing a little bit, not really going too far, but, LeBron was in the Western Conference Finals a few years ago. So, yeah, man, just these stars are just balling out at this age, man, just balling out. But, yeah, man, that's that on that, and, I think the last thing I'm going to talk about today is the Cowboys. I didn't talk about the Cowboys last time and talking about football, and I haven't talked about the Cowboys at all because they haven't been very good. But things are looking up for us. Things are starting to look up, and it feels good. It feels really good. I've been preaching Dak Prescott all year. I've been, talking so highly of Dak. Even in our losses, some of them, not all of them, but most of the time, Dak has been balling this year. He's just been balling. I mean, I can't really, some people he gets a lot of slack because he's the Cowboys quarterback, and usually it's win or lose. We win, people give him credit. We lose, people bash him, whatever. Even win or loss, Dak's been great this year. He's been nothing short of great. His stats are good. I believe he leads the league in QBR. He's had some, that Packers game, he was amazing. The Eagles game this past week, he was great. Yeah, man, he's balling out. And first thing I just wanted to do was give Dak his credit because this season was looking a little, iffy coming into it, and 6-7 games in was looking even worse. So the fact that he stands his ground and just balls out and just continues to do his job and be a leader every week, I got to give that man some credit, man. I got to give that man some credit because outside of the other factors, there's a lot of other factors that are contributing to us winning right now. Dak just continues to be that leader and that guy in our locker room and on our team that I'll never have a problem with him. I'll never have a problem with Dak just because he just stays so consistent. So yeah, man, shout out to Dak. But, yeah, man, the Cowboys are balling. Big win against the Eagles this past week. Everybody's seen it, down 21-0. Eagles don't score the rest of the game. Cowboys, George Pickens starts balling out. CeeDee Lamb tries to spoil it, but luckily we got past that. Yeah, man, Dak balling out, defense balling out, forcing some fumbles. A little bit of everything, man, a little bit of everything. And, that first half was rough. That first half was really, really rough. I mean, A.J. Brown was, running rampant on us, wide open all over the field, touchdown here and there, just balling out. First quarter, he had, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter? Or maybe 2 in the, first quarter and a half? I think he scored, I can't remember exactly, but he was balling. He was balling, for sure. And, I think one of his touchdowns got called back. I think I'm misremembering, but sorry. But yeah, man, he was balling out. Devontae Smith making crazy catches down the field. Jalen Hurts running all over the place. We're committing penalties, fumbling, throwing picks, whatever. I mean, it couldn't have gone more wrong in the first half. Once Dak threw the pick in the end zone, I was like, oh, that's it. Dak has not been throwing a lot of picks, and in a situation like this, we couldn't afford a turnover. We really couldn't. We could not afford a turnover. At that point, I'm like, yeah, that's game. That's game. I mean, we had We had how many chances to score? 3 chances to score in the first half. We got a fourth and out. I mean, a fourth and out. We went for it a fourth down, turned it over on downs. Cavante Turpin in the red zone, not in the red zone, close to the red zone. We handed the ball off in the backfield. I don't know why. I don't know why we're doing that. Last time we handed a receiver off, last time we gave a receiver a handoff in the backfield, CeeDee Lamb got hurt. So I don't know why we're still doing that. And then Cavante Turpin fumbles. CeeDee Lamb almost fumbles. Pretty much, it was looking like a fumble. You know, he was down, thank God. But everything was just going wrong. Everything was going wrong. And, you know, I was actually watching it at my cousin's house, and I left early. And when I left, we were down 21-0 still. As soon as I left, 3 minutes in, they scored a touchdown, 21-7. I'm like, all right. So I'm on my way home. I throw it on at halftime, whatever. We come down into the second half. We missed a field goal. And at that point, I was like, oh, well, we're missing field goals. We're about halfway through the third. We're only down 2 touchdowns. But, you know, I'm like, no way we keep holding the Eagles. There's no way they're gonna score. So I turned the game off for 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? The Cavs were playing. I wanted to watch the Cavs for a little while. I turned the game off for 10 minutes. Literally, the Cavs game had like 6 minutes left in the second quarter. I watched the rest of the half. I was like, let me take a break, you know, because when the Cowboys are playing like that, I really cannot stand watching them. Like, it really just, it gets my blood boiling, and I can't stand that shit. So I turned the game off. I'll say 10 to 15 minutes later, I turned it back on. Tie game. And, you know, I was so happy. I was so mad at the same time because I missed everything that transpired in those 15 minutes. Like, it just from the freaking, I don't know, I want to say 10 minutes left in the third quarter till about the end of the third. Just freaking everything happened, and I missed it all, and I was pissed. But anyway, I'm just sad to give my own experience real quick because I'm still mad at myself. I'm really mad at myself as a fan that I missed that. It really pissed me off. But anyway, of course I watched the highlights. Of course I caught up on everything. But when I turned the game back on, it was the fourth quarter, tie game, whatever. I missed a big Pickens catch. Shout out to Pickens. He's been balling. Tore the Eagles up for 146. He's been tearing everybody up. But yeah, man, I missed the Pickens catch. I missed the CD catch. You know, I missed the Dak touchdown run. I'm just pissed. But anyway, so yeah, Cowboys start balling. You know, as soon as I turn the game off, Cowboys start balling and come back. And the Eagles scored 0 points from 11:32 left in the second quarter into the end of the game. And that, to me, is so crazy because you score 21 points in the first, 20 minutes of the game, you know, the first quarter and a half about, and the next 40 minutes you don't put up a point. I mean, the Cowboys, you know, I think this is just, you know, hopefully this is a sign of what's to come moving forward. You know, getting Logan Wilson, getting Quinnen Williams, getting Overshown back, getting Revel back, the rookie corner, Kalen Carson. I mean, we got 5 or 6 new defensive players, you know, on the field right now. So, yeah, man, Overshown is a huge one. He made a couple nice open field tackles on Saquon that, you know, really, I mean, as you can see, Saquon had 10 carries for 22 yards. I believe he had 5 rushing yards before contact. 5 rushing yards before contact in the entire game. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was skeptical on the Quinnen Williams trade at first. I was talking a little bit of shit. I was like, I don't know why we're giving up a first-round pick for a D tackle where we just traded Micah Parsons for a D tackle. And, you know what I'm saying, we need other things. We need secondary. We need linebackers. And, yeah, man, I need to shut up because Quinnen Williams balled out. You know, the whole D-line, the whole defense balled out, really. But Quinnen Williams, man, he was stuffing the line. Like I said, Saquon 10 for 22, 5 yards before contact is insane. You know, and people were just, you know, something changed in the second half. And, yeah, man, that fumble they forced on Saquon was a great play. Sam Williams, shout out to Sam Williams. That was a great forced fumble. And then, of course, we come down. We don't score. And, oh, my God. What was his name? Elijah Clark? Shout out to Elijah Clark, man. That was a hell of a play. For anybody who didn't see it, they go to kick off the ball. and he gets off the line, and as soon as he's getting up the field, he gets knocked over, knocked on his ass, bounces up, starts running up again, gets pushed again, almost falls again. He's just getting pushed all around his whole way up the field, but he just keeps getting up and running. Runs all the way pretty much down the middle of the field and back over to the left and cracks Xavier Gibson. Lays a nice ass hit on him, and our long snapper recovers the fumble. Like that whole moment right there obviously put us in a great position to win the game, but that moment right there really showed me the type of time this team is on right now. Like they're really, it's everybody. It's everybody's all in. Everybody's all in. And I didn't even speak on this, and this might not directly have something to do with it, but subconsciously these players are playing harder for Marshawn Nealon. Rest in peace to Marshawn. I didn't get to speak on that too much, but rest in peace. I liked him as a player a lot. Someone I always said he needs to be on the field more. I'm just glad he got to get that touchdown on that Monday night game, before everything happened. But yeah, man, rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon. But I really think this team is, playing off his energy right now, playing for him. And because the type of play that they made on that kickoff right there, it's just a different level of hustle. It's a different level of commitment. And, that play right there was the play of the game. There were so many great plays that game. That was the play of the game. That play, I just can't stop raving about it. It was a great, great play. I mean, I feel like most players, I'm not watching all the gunners on the kickoff too often. You get knocked on your ass like that. If you would have seen it, how it happened, he got knocked on his ass and immediately just rolled off the ground, bounced up, and just kept going and really laid a crazy hit. And it was just the play of the game. Play the game. I can't, I feel like players are really, we weren't getting that type of effort and energy the first, 6 or 7 weeks of the season. We were not getting that at all. And, yeah, man, I think this team, it just got a special, want to it right now. They want it. You could tell they want it. And it's not just Dak this time. Sometimes it feels like our leader, Dak, is the only one who's really, speaking out for our team and saying what we need to fix and this and that. Sometimes it just feels like Dak, and Jerry Jones, who we all can't stand anyway. But, yeah, man, that play right there just showed me something that this team is all in, and they believe we can win. I think they really believe. I mean, we're 5-5-1 now. We're 10th in the NFC standings. It's going to be a hard journey to get to that, 7th seed, but it's possible. We got to beat the Lions in 2 weeks. They're ahead of us. And, we got the Chiefs coming up on Thursday. That's going to be a huge game, of course. But, yeah, man, shout out to the Cowboys. Shout out to George Pickens. George Pickens needs to be re-signed. He definitely needs to be re-signed. He's the top 3 receiver in the league right now, if not, number 2. He's probably top 2. JSN and him right now, honestly. Yeah, man, shout out to George Pickens. And I just hope Jerry doesn't fuck this up. I really hope Jerry doesn't mess this up, because if you could just get a decent defense, you got Overshown back, you got Quinnen Williams, you got Kenny Clark, you got Deron Bland. Forget Trayvon Diggs. I love you, Trayvon, but you got to go. It's about that time. We just cut Kaiir Elam. Thank God. Shout out to him, but sorry, you had to go. We're letting the young players play now. Revel, Kalen Carson, Logan Wilson is a good addition. I mean, if we could just have a decent defense, Dak is going to win you most games. I mean, Dak has won games his whole career with a pretty, I would say 21, since Micah was drafted until last year. Last year our defense was terrible. But Micah's first 3 years or 4 years, 2 or 3 years, our defense was great. Our defense was really good. It was one of the better defenses Dak has had. And I really think that, if we could just have a decent defense, these weapons Dak has. Javonte Williams, balling. He's up to almost 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's going to set a career high in yards. He's going to clear 1,000 easy. George Pickens already cleared 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's on pace for 1,600 career year for sure. Probably one of the better receiving seasons, maybe not ever, but, recent history. If he gets 16 plus, 10 plus touchdowns, Definitely one of the better receiving seasons in recent history. We're just our offense is insane. Long story short, our offense is insane. Everybody's balling out except for CD Lamb. I don't know what's wrong with you, CD, but those drops against the Eagles. What does he have? 7 drops against the Eagles in 2 games. 8 drops. That drop in the end zone was pretty much blew us the game. It pretty much lost us the game, and yeah, man, I'm not too happy with that, man. CD, I don't know. He had drop issues his first like year and a half in the league, and then he just stopped. He didn't drop a ball for a long time. We're not seeing him drop balls in the regular. And then this year, just something about playing the Eagles. Something about playing the Eagles. So, yeah, man. CD tried to ruin the game for us, but he couldn't do it. Yeah, man. Shout out to the Cowboys. I'm at a loss of words. That win was really amazing. I'm still mad at myself for missing about 10 minutes of that game. Um, but maybe I'm bad luck. Maybe I'm bad luck because when I watch the Cowboys do terrible, as soon as I turn the game off, they come back down 21-0. So maybe that should tell me something, and I should just stop watching the games. But yeah, man, shout out to the Cowboys. Um, I don't think there's anything else I really want to talk about today. Shout out to the Eagles too. Not really. I hate y'all, but it was a great game. It was a great game, and I love playing the Eagles. It gives me a different level of love for the game when we play teams like that. Division games are always great, but not just division games. Something about playing the Eagles. Something about playing the Eagles really just like gets me going. It feels like a playoff game every time. So yeah, man. Shout out to the Eagles. They're still pretty much top dog in the NFC outside of the Rams. Who they beat. They beat the Rams. So, maybe Eagles still are top dog in the NFC, and I got to give them their credit. They're still a really good team. I think they're starting to get figured out a little bit, slightly, but still a really good team. Yeah, man, I think that's it for today. There's nothing else. I don't want to talk about the Cavs. I'm off them for a little while. Um, yeah, man, they're playing terrible. We got injuries though. We got injuries. Hunter, Garland, Struess, Merrill. Like we're missing players right now, so I'm not even gonna get into that. But I probably will be talking about the Cavs. Moving forward a lot, of course. And yeah, man, it's a good episode, man. It's a good episode. You know what you know. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with another episode soon.